Good morning. Welcome to Banter with RichiebB Live.
Somewhere beyond the beaten path, beyond the whispers in the woods and the stories around the fire, lurks one of the greatest mysteries of our time, Bigfoot. For decades, legends have echoed through the forests, footprints left behind, sightings that defy logic, and questions that demand answers. But this isn't just folklore. This is a call to investigate, to explore, and to uncover the truth. Banter with RichiebB isn't just another show. It's a community, a movement, a hub for genuine research, real conversations, and boots-on-the-ground discovery. Every episode dives deep into evidence, expert interviews, field investigations, and the drive to seek what others say is impossible. If you believe in asking questions, if you're ready to get your boots dirty, and if you think the unknown deserves more than just a passing glance, then follow Banter with RichiebB. Stay informed, stay sharp, and maybe, just maybe, be the one who finds the truth hiding in the trees.
I love you, baby Jack. I want you guys to keep climbing. I love you, Mama. Bojo's gonna get us out of here because that's what he does.
That's right. Nice meeting you all. Thank you for being on air. And yes, we are home of the phone. Let's go.
Good morning. Welcome to Banter with RichiebB Live.
Near these huts,
Yep.
there is something going on here.
Behind us after. The trees were fucking moving everywhere. Yeah, bro. Goosebumps.
Maddox, you were with me. We looked this way. It was not like this.
Welcome to Banter with RichiebB. Yo, what's up, everybody? Oh, yeah, that's right. He's back. Yeah, we've seen it for a while. Oh, I'm live. Look at that. Say hi, Wojo.
Hi, Wojo.
Yo, what's up, everybody? And welcome to Banter with RichiebB Live. That's right, Jim. Hey, how's everybody doing tonight? I am fired up. I am so fired up. We are continuing the My Mama in May month with another brilliant lady researcher. This particular lady researcher is in Florida, and we all know what's down there. If you're into Bigfoot, it is probably the cousin of Bigfoot. I'll just say the cousin of Bigfoot, Skunk Ape. I love the Skunk Ape stories. There's a great old video of the Skunk Ape, which I think is pretty genuine. That's just me. But very brave, very brave. I found out she doesn't wear snake boots. That's weird. Oh, I got to tell you, Jim, they got some designer snake boots. I want to wear snake boots when I'm up here. You know what I mean? But think about it. Florida's like pretty much, it's Australia. Let's face it. But so check it out, man. Listen up. We are going to have Wojo come in. And we're gonna do a little advertising, a little hello, a little salama-bama ding-dong, and then we are gonna bring the one, the only Brooke Mullen in from Doc Florida podcast too. By the way, the girl does all kinds of things, man. So when we watch like people like Wojo has picked a few guests and I've picked a few guests, and you watch them and you sometimes you kind of get that connection where you're like, oh, that's pretty cool. Oh, that's different. Oh, I didn't think of that. Oh, you do that too? And that's kind of the situation here. So I was super pumped to have her here, and I'm glad she's here tonight. So let's get the show started. Let's bring in our co-host so we can say hi to everybody on the side. The side. All right, sorry. I've had like 82 rock stars. My bad. Let me get Wojo out here. Maybe 83. One for each kid. Hang on. Oh, there he is.
Hey! Happy Saturday, everybody. Welcome to Home of the Boom. Very excited today, Rich.
You know, I am as well. You know, I have a big birthday party I'm getting ready for my 2-year-old. Yes, the old guy's got a 2-year-old. Whatever, don't want to hear it. Talk to God. Anyways, so I got the bouncy house outside, which is one of the people I'm going to advertise for, by the way, because they were absolutely kick-ass to me, and very grateful for them. And so it's people come in. So you know what happens when people are coming. Even if you're the neatest person in the world, there's always something to do, right? And I live in basically an amusement park is what I live in. I live in an amusement park. There's people everywhere. You know what I mean? Only one dog. That's good. He's only like that big. And real hair, small poops. That's all I ask for. All that stuff. Pardon me. But all that stuff. So
You want to trade?
no, zero chance in that happening. Well, I'm allergic to dog hair. So that's one of the things that, you know, and it stinks because I had a dog I used to love and I'd be like petting her like, here you go. Good girl, Sadie. Good girl. I feel like a wimp, but it is what it is. I just don't want to go all the time, you know. So anyway, so you got lots to do. I've been working hard around the house, working hard down in the basement area, which is really a full basement with pool table and video game areas and bedrooms and living rooms and a gym and podcast studio. So it has all this stuff. So I have lots to do. Enough about me. Let's talk about me. All right, so check it out, man. Let's say hi to everybody on the side, and then we'll do some advertising because they're all saying hi to each other, so we know what happens when this happens. I got to go all the way back. Oh, it's chaos. I love them all, though. There's not one here I don't love. So go back to the top. Let's find who was first. It was GG, Ghost Girl's in the house. What's up, Ghost Girl? And then Ron was a close second, by the way. We have not seen Ron. He's been off and on a little bit lately. I hope everything's well down there in sunny Florida. My boy Martin up in New Hampshire. He's got a lot of business going on up there with the Sasquatches. Let's see. Henry's here. What's up, Henry? Bigfoot researcher, BFR. That's what that means. Everybody's wondering. MK Ultra. What's up, MK?
That's MK, cool. What's happening?
I should have a cool name like that. RichiebB Ultra, MK. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think like high. I sound like I'm high octane if I'm like that, you know?
Or maybe like Richie Light, but not so light.
Oh, yeah. I like that. All right. Shalao. Zabao. Oh, look who's here. Legendary. The one, the only from Maine. Jean Tewksbury's in the house. And she's a guest speaker at a few different places. We're going to see her a couple times this summer, bro. I'm so excited.
Yeah, I can't wait to meet Jean.
I'm going to tell you where you can hear Jean speak soon. Let's see. Hello, there's Ron again. Hello, everyone else. I'm getting tired of saying hello to everyone. Oh, my God. Yeah, Ron's back. All right, let me see. I can't stand this. They give you this little thing to slide with. It's so stupid. Bexley MK. Damian Smith, what's up? Welcome from Scotland.
Edinburgh, Scotland.
All the servicemen and women, their families, the weekend. We appreciate you all. Absolutely. Thank you. A lot of my brothers and sisters I lost. Absolutely. Yeah. Love them all. And yeah, Matthew Bean is one of them. He's right from the area in Pembroke and played softball with him. He used to mow my lawn. He's a good dude. And we lost him in Iraq and Afghanistan. It's a whole mess, but love you, brother. So and a bunch of others. Bigfoot World Cryptids, the Paranormal Central Florida. Good evening. That is a lot to say, my friend.
Yeah, there's a lot of big names going on.
It's the Paranormal Central Florida. Good evening. Denny is here.
Denny.
What's up, Denny? Forest Monsters. Well, there you go. That's nice and simple.
Forest of Monsters. That's cool.
I like it.
Who are you? I'm Forest of Monsters.
Yeah, Forest Monsters. That's right, Jim.
Yeah.
All right. We don't leave Brooke sitting too long because, you know, she's a very busy person. So Saturday night, young lady. Yeah, but it's Saturday night. She's a young lady. She don't want to hang out with those two old twats, dude.
Yeah, you know.
I mean, even if you are talking skunk ape, skunk ape. Never mind. I'm not talking no more.
Wankers.
Shut up, you wanker. Yeah. So check us out on Dark Realm TV. We are on every Roku television, every Amazon Fire Stick, all over the world. Get your subscription from them, please. I think it's like $4.99 a month, and you get all kinds of extras. This summer, we will be doing an exclusive with them. I am super pumped about that. They're going to come up. We're going to do something live and happening. They do have a lot of our live investigations as well that we've been posting. I think it's every Tuesday night we're on over there. So I asked them for a specific time to make it like a TV show type thing. So make sure you check them out. Cobble Mounted Critter Festival is June 7th. It's coming up. It's like 2 weeks away, dude. Oh my God, it's 2 weeks away. I got to get ready. I got to pack my snake boots. my Versace snake boots, my Gucci's. Anybody seen my Gucci's? Where's my Gucci's?
Crocs. Who are you kidding?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, right. Just give me some Crocs. I'm out.
Give me some Crocs. Happy.
So that's June 7th in Russell, Massachusetts. Way out west.
Ball cleats.
Stop yelling tonight, Woj. You're so mad.
No, I hate being mad.
Right. So yeah, so we will be there as guest speakers. We're gonna roam around and meet people. If you can, again, I've said it all the time. Please go over to the Facebook and hit the follow. Please, please, please hit the follow at the Cobble Mountain Critter Festival Facebook page. As many followers, the better. The more names you get, you work that algorithm, you help the people out. That cause, all that, any money made on that goes to wilderness programs for youth. I mean, that's, if you're into this, what we do, this is exactly why you probably should be doing it, really. And this is what these guys are doing. So they're trying to get these programs funded and help these kids get away from the screen and get their butts outside. So Cobble Mountain Critter Fest, June 7th, Russell, Massachusetts. And also Charming Fair Farm, Wojo and myself are the MCs of that. We will be hosting that event up in Candia, New Hampshire on the 21st and 22nd of June. We will be all over. We'll have guest speakers. We'll have contests for the old calling contest. I'm going to mix something in there. I'm going to go for like a whoop contest, something different, right? And also, real quick, before I get Brooke up here, I want to go over. I want anybody that's local or in the area. I don't know exactly how far they go, but they have all different types of locations. Busy Bee Jumpers located at 210 Essex Street, Whitman, Massachusetts. The phone number is 781-447-8300. Busy Bee Jumpers. They hooked me up. They came here. They set up my jumper so fast, so cool, so clean, so happy. Boom, bang, done. Price was right. Awesome. Check out my boy Mickey Martell over there, and make sure you get your jumper from them guys. Busy Bee Jumpers, 781-447-8300. You tell them Richie B sent you, and they'll probably charge you more. All right, you're welcome. Also, 42nd Brew in Kingston, Massachusetts, 77 Summer Street. Get over there and have yourself I think it's like a Bigfoot ale or something, right?
Yeah.
These guys are already starting off with their stuff, man. So we got to hurry up and get our guest in here. We're going to get so far behind on these comments because you know what? Damian Smith's in here stirring stuff up with his brilliance. And I saw one, Florida said something I want to go read. But let's get Brooke Mullen in here, please. Is that all right with you, Wojo?
Absolutely. Bring her in.
And everybody, notice the natural radio voice. I'm very jealous, but I'll get over it.
Oh, she's got a great voice.
Yes, she is. Go ahead. Hello, Brooke.
Hello. How's it going?
Yeah, I'm a child. Sorry.
Hello, boy.
I'm a bit of a kid. Yeah. How are you? Are you okay with all this nonsense I spew? You good? You okay? You got your seatbelt
I guess
on?
I'll have to be. We're here. No, I'm just kidding.
No, no, you can just click on buy.
Right. Sorry, I'm getting a call.
Yeah. You should text her friend, call me.
Right.
Hate that one. No, go.
No, I'm very excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, no, it's our honor. I'm super pumped to have you. And like I said, we were talking a little bit in the back. I don't do deep research on my guests. I love to ad lib. I love the organic kind of direction the interview can take, the conversation. It's really not an interview. We're all going to have an interview here, right? And it's just so organic. But some of the things you were doing down in Florida were absolutely cool. For one, the whole dynamic. You're a younger lady. You're out in the woods. Got an e-bike?
I do.
You got an e-bike. You got the e-bike going. No snake boots. She's in the swamp, and you're looking for a skunk ape. And I'm like, this girl nuts? Like, is she crazy? So I had to go looking around some more. Then I found out you had a podcast, right? I believe you record and then you upload and do that, right?
I do.
And then you do digital, so it involves digital creation, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You got digital creation as well. So then I'm going, wow, this is cool. So you got a lot of different dynamics. And then what do I see last week on Facebook?
I don't know.
Oh,
what did you see?
I'm all right. This might be a little bit of a curveball, and I apologize.
Oh boy.
You sing.
Oh, I do. Mm-hmm.
You sing.
Yeah.
And you sing well.
Thank you.
I was like, all right, wait, that's the podcast, Skunk Ape, Electric Ride, and No Snake Boot, Swamp Girl.
Bigfoot.
Right.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you just sang this song, and I'm like, and it had so much meaning. It had meaning to it. I thought it was beautiful meaning. And I was just like, all right, I'm done. I don't even know what to do now. I just let you run my show. I'm going to sit back here and just do nothing. Anyways, I was very, very impressed and very honored. We're very honored to have you here. So, and you know, it's a steep contrast to having Wojo here. You know what I mean? Yeah, Wojo wears snake boots. We don't have like snakes. You know what I mean? He goes out in a forest. He won't go near a swamp. He pedals. He doesn't have an e-bike. He can't sing. Right? You can't, right, Wojo?
Yeah, I'm terrible.
I didn't say that. You said it. I just want to check out one thing. Someone said over here. Oh, I got to issue a fine for the length of that name. Oh, MK says he got to issue a fine for the length of the name. Bigfoot World Cryptid Central Southwest Paranormal Florida Research Teams.
Hey,
Yeah.
so we might be jumping the gun, but I'm actually affiliated with that group. So
I was waiting for this because when I saw it, we don't have a lot of Central Florida folks hanging around these parts. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I was gonna say, hey, don't dog on our team here.
No, listen, I love it. I love it. Well, that's the beauty of doing this, right? That we
Yeah, and it's like she said, you got to cover it all because a lot of times Bigfoot and the paranormal do blur and the lines cross sometimes. So you got to get it all in there.
Yeah, that's absolutely a great point. And you see a lot of that, right? Because I kind of started out like someone told me I had a niche when I started, right? Or a niche. Depends on where you're from. Me and my executive producer, Bobby Lee, argue about this all the time. She says it's a niche. And in her way, she's correct. But I'm, you know, from the Boston area, so we make up our own words. It's a niche. So anyways, but I was into the paranormal. I'm into the UFOs. I'm into everything, you know, but it just so happens I have so much activity with Sasquatch that I just been Sasquatch, and I'm okay with that. I'm fine with it. As long as we're having fun, that's all I care about. Eric Vogel's here, by the way. Eric Vogel's here. It was Tim here. I don't know if I missed Tim. Animal's here.
Yeah, Tim's in here.
Oh, hi, Tim. Tim and Eric Vogel from the Cobb Mountain Critter Festival. So let's just get rolling here, okay? Anybody on the side, you got questions? I want to see all that conversation flying up and down, guys. I want you to have fun. I want you to enjoy yourselves and ask Brooke a bunch of great questions and have fun or just listen or whatever, man. This is an absolutely interactive podcast. So if you guys want to jump in and ask some questions, you surely can. All right. What is it? What's that? Is D-Hood here yet? So how do you get started with all that stuff?
With Bigfooting? How did I get into that?
You know, yeah. Like how do you get up one day and you're like, I'm gonna look for Bigfoot?
That's a good question. It was a slippery slope. I'll tell anybody. I think like we can all agree because we're all here that Bigfoot is not something I think people go into like halfway. I feel like people get involved with it and then it becomes almost like an obsession almost. And I think that's what happened with me. I've always been really into mysteries, unsolved, and just all the strange and weird things that this world has to offer. And so I was already, I think, predisposed in that sense. And I've always loved outdoors and hiking. And I think my nanny, she had a sighting here in Florida back in the 70s. So you have that like trifecta that was there. And then, like I said, I already loved going outdoors. So it was kind of just bridging the gap between something I already loved doing, but just doing it with like more focus and intention. And I just got into it. I'm like, you know, I was like listening to podcasts and different things and thinking about my nanny's story. And I'm that kind of a person. I want to be boots on the ground. I want to figure it out for myself. I wanted to have a sighting so I could see it. And even though I already believed, I think we all want that class A to say, okay, I've seen this thing myself and it's undeniable. So that's kind of how it all happened. And then I got to go to my first Bigfoot conference, which I recommend anybody to do. We have it every year here in Florida in Ocala. And I went the first time and there was a dinner beforehand. So I got to meet some great people. I made some connections. And then from there, it just snowballed into the awesomeness that it is today. And now I'm out almost every weekend. And here we are.
No, it snowballs like crazy, don't it? Because I called Bobby Lee one day and everybody kind of knows my story. And I I needed some passion to get up off the mat, so to speak. And I said, I want to start a podcast. And she was like, oh my God, I've been waiting for this call. You're perfect for this, And next thing you know, I had green screens, computers, and all this stuff in here. And I'm like, what the heck's going on? And I'm setting up, going up, squatching and all this stuff. And it snowballs. And I think that's a great way to put it in this particular research field. But when you said your grandmother, Nanny, sorry, had a sighting in the 70s.
She did.
So let me try to draw a picture here, if you don't mind.
Sure.
So how do you hear from Nanny, or do you hear from your parents, or do you hear through the grapevine that Nanny saw a Skunk? Like, how old were you when you first heard that, first of all?
Oh God, I don't know. I was probably younger, but it was something that we talked about, periodically, through life. And it was from her. Yeah, she was very casual with it. We would sit and play Mexican train dominoes on her back porch, and she'd be smoking her cig, and we were just have the best time. She was from Virginia, and she drove this like Lincoln, and she was just an all around badass. She kept like darts in the trunk, and she was just like the coolest lady that I ever knew. She was awesome. And she actually passed away this January. Yeah. And even in her old age, like we would talk about it. And she, like, when we were talking pre-show about what got you into it and your sighting, and you're like, oh, it's taking me back there. The same thing would happen to her with the PTSD of the event. And yeah, she definitely she was scared by it. It freaked her out, and you could see just like the look on her face change when she started talking about it.
Yeah. So she kind of gets lit up like kind of like I was talking in the back room. You kind of get all like fired up.
Yeah. Yeah. She was freaked out. I think she was scared more than anything.
Really?
Yeah.
So it startled. Now, was that the only sighting? It never came back. She never saw it again. Was she curious to go out and look for herself? Did she look in the back? I know she was scared, but I'm scared too. But it drew me to it.
Right. No, she never went out searching for it. And what happened to her is she was a paper delivery driver. So when you're delivering newspapers, you have to be out really super early in the morning. And so she started parking her truck really close to the house, because in the community, again, this is fresh development, all of the logs that had been stacked up, they would come out and they'd be thrown around like matches in the morning, and everyone would be on edge. Like weird things like that were happening. Wow. And it was like everyone was already on edge in the community. So she said that she started parking the truck closer because they didn't know what was out there doing this. And one morning, sure enough, she gets in the truck and she goes off, and this thing chases her. And she said it ran up to like 45 miles an hour. And she recalls this just awful stench and odor that it had. And it just really freaked her out. She was really scared, because it's like at that point, you're trying to drive away and you're still not safe. This thing's keeping pace. And so, yeah.
Wow, that's quite a story, right, Wojo?
Yeah, that's pretty frightening. I mean, you hear stories around the country, about people being chased up to like 45 miles per hour. I mean, all different shapes and sizes, but I don't care. Someone like running after you at that speed, I'd be like, I'm out.
Yeah, no, that's crazy, and I love that story, and I love how it's kind of become your story. In a sense, right? Like you've taken that in her honor, and kind of made it your own, and you share it, right?
Yeah.
That's
I don't usually jump in the questions too early, but I'm going to real quick if you don't mind. Real quick, and son, no disrespect made with the names. It's just the mainstream so people know what you're talking about. So no disrespect made to your people, by the way, brother. So for me, the difference between the skunk ape, because Damien asked that earlier, and Sasquatch himself, I think it's shared geographical because of food source and things like that. Like I have a patch of skunk cabbage in my backyard, and those things get picked, and they end up spawning twice in a year. They're only supposed to be once. So I know something's taking them and isn't little deer marks. You know what I mean? I've watched them for years happen. So I think the skunk ape itself, the reason why I bring that up is the food sources are different, and they're a little bit more stealthy, a little more skinny, a little more ripped, where the ones that you see in the Northeast Ohio, whatever, the big burly type dudes that walk around, which way to the beach type of thing. And, stuff like that. I mean, would you agree that that would be the difference?
Yeah,
Mainly?
no, I believe so. And I think some of the coloring is different too. So I did see in the comments that they were talking about like the amber color, that orangish color.
Yes.
I think that the skunk apes are a little bit smaller than what's reported in other areas for sure. And then personally, and this is a personal opinion, I don't think that they're as aggressive as they are in some other regions. I think that they're mostly benign here. Not to say that somebody, maybe if they were too close to a family unit or something like that, couldn't experience some aggression. But I think that they are a little bit more chill here, and they're a little smaller than what you're hearing reported in other places like Ohio or the Pacific Northwest, where they're a lot larger. Sometimes they're black or gray, and pretty big. Here they're around that 6 to 8 feet range, and not quite as tall as some of the other reports throughout the country.
Interesting.
Yeah. And if you talk to some people too, some people will say that the feet are a little different, that they have 4 toes or something like that. So some people,
I've heard that.
Yeah. Some
I've
people
heard
have
that.
tracks like that here.
Yeah, I heard they're a lot more slender and the heel's a lot more slender. For instance, like here we've had we deal with some of the heels are like 7.5 inches wide. The heel. And yeah, look, one's like 7.25, I think it was, and then the top was like 8 something, and that was the 17.5 to 18-inch one we have. That's Daddy, and then we have a 16, but whatever. But the heels, I actually have. It's not in here. It's in my. I got a show to do, but in my evidence case, we have one. We walked up on it in an area where we believe they take shelter once in a while. We call them the huts, and there was a hail right in peat moss. So I did do you use a scanner app at all, by the way?
I do.
I use Scaniverse. So I use Scaniverse on it, and it's an amazing hail, but that one's over 7 inches wide. And that's a big dude because my hail in boots, when I'm wearing my boots, are 3.25, and I'm an 11.5. So I don't have small feet. You know what I mean? So So it's definitely interesting, the characteristics of them. You know what I mean? And by the way, I do want to get back to Nanny a little bit. I'm not done with her yet.
Okay.
Hope you don't mind, ma'am. But no, I find it so intriguing. And when I talk to people, that's why I love the organic parts of the interviews, because I didn't have no clue about that. It's not like it's plastered all over your stuff, And I just think it's such a great dynamic of it. And I'm here in a sense where I carry on the inspiration. I lost a son. We lost a son at birth, and a couple of years back, baby Jack, and that's my young man. Why is that not in the picture? Someone messed with my camera. I'm telling you. Whoa, Joe.
Dude, I
don't
know what's going on, dude.
Yeah, you feel my pain. What you drinking?
A sweet tea.
Of course it's sweet tea. Why wouldn't it be sweet tea? I had a place in North Carolina for 7 years. That's all I drank was sweet tea. You kidding me? It's delicious.
It's not just any sweet tea. It's Publix diet sweet tea. So.
Oh, it's specific.
Oh, wow. I guess
no teeter or nothing like that. It has to be Publix.
Yes.
Oh man. Do you guys have Sheetz down in Florida?
No.
Oh,
we do not.
Terrible. That's terrible. Sheetz is my absolute favorite place.
We've got Wawas.
Oh, Wawas are everywhere, right? Do you think that's for the drunk people at 2 a.m. to come in and to make that sound?
Oh, really?
Could you imagine?
Probably.
They should play a reel of that, because they got them. They walk up to that thing and they're all hammered, like Wawa, like everybody just yelling that stupid thing out. You know what I mean? Like acting like fools, buying a bunch of junk. It has to. Why else would they have that name? It makes no sense. If everybody knows the history of that name, please get back to me.
I think it's actually about the geese. It's their logo. So I think it's like the sound that the goose make.
Are you serious right now?
Yeah.
That is freaking awesome. Is that a theory that you made up, or is this something that could be? Can we
think it's legit.
Can we research where the name Wawa came from?
Yeah, someone let us know.
I know none of my producers are here tonight. I don't see Sam anywhere. Bobby Lee's stuck on a beach somewhere in a Subaru. It is. It's just
down the south there.
Wawa. I never heard a goose, geese, gosling, whatever you want to call them, make that noise. Hi, Ristel. Hi, how are you, man? So I just got thrown off with that. That's not even right. That's an easy one too. How am I so thrown off by that? Would you have been to a Wawa?
Yeah, once.
Really? Was it drunk at 2 a.m. yelling Wawa?
No. No.
Interesting.
Actually, I do have friends that live in Ocala. Oh. And is Mojo still around? Mojo's Bar and Grill?
Oh, I don't know.
She's got other things to do. You think she goes out hanging out at a bar and grill?
You never know. You might find.
She's got an e-bike and she's driving around swamps looking for a skunk ape, bro. And when she's not doing that, she's creating things digitally, running a podcast, and singing.
And hanging out at Wawa.
Yeah, hanging out at Wawa while she just pops into Publix for the specialty. I mean, come on, guy. I think she's over here.
Kathy said it still exists.
Oh, it does? Where's that? Where is it? Where'd you see that?
A Bigfoot World. She said yes.
You threw out. See, she's dropping names. That's not fair. So Bigfoot World says, I live in Ocala National Forest. All right, so here we go. Thank you for bringing that up, Bigfoot World Cryptids, Paranormal Central Florida. I'm going to do that like 30 times tonight. Bigfoot World Cryptids. All right, we're going to have a contest at the end of the show. Say it 5 times in a row without messing up, and you win BanterWithRichieB sock, just the left one. Come on, that's a great contest. I think so. So, is that the area you go out in? Do you go out to the national forest, or do you go to swamps? Like, is there a specific research area that you have? Let's put it that way.
Okay, so there is, and
you don't have to be too specific.
I was going to say, I don't mean to disappoint anyone.
No. You know what I mean. We're researchers. We can say this because we already know it goes without saying. But is it in Ocala area?
So I will say I do investigate in Ocala. So that's a huge place. So that really you can't.
That's fine. We'll
figure anything out there because it's so huge. But there are other places that I research that are a little bit closer to where I'm at. That is kind of like my main research area. I try to get up to Ocala and see my friends up there at least once a month, and we've got a trip coming up. But we do research up there. But I go all over Florida too. I've been up to the Panhandle, and there's just so many good places here. Like that's one of the best parts about Florida is that not only do we have a lot of Bigfoot activity, there's paranormal activity, and Florida's just got so many great places to choose from. We're really lucky here.
No, it does. And I lived in Lakeland for years when it was actually kind of nice, but I lived in like a golf course down there or something. I don't know, but it was interesting, but I wasn't so much into this. It was more my paranormal days.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And some of the old, just abandoned, rundown, been there forever places. Just extra creepy there. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I think it's, I'm going to throw something out there. My theory was because Florida's so saturated with water, it had more electricity. So, because it's a conductor. So I always say to people, man, there's something different about Florida at night, for one, which would lead to the theory that could be possibly true because it's moist. And it was just crazy. I went into a place, and I've never ever left a place where I was like, all right, gotta get out of here. I was always like, something comes up to me, I'd be like, okay, how you doing? My name's Rich, man. Nice to meet you. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, I'm a dead demon. I'm gonna stab you with a knife. I'm like, sure you are. You know what I mean? But this one particular place, I can't remember where it was. It was just kind of a fly-by-night type of thing. I went in there, I had my EVP recorder, went in there playing, and did a live feedback, and thing knew my name, and it was very sharp, very like. And I just had that fight or flight kick in. Wojo, really? Wojo, really? Right at the peak of my story, you get boing, boing, boing on you. He's on his phone. I love the guy.
But anyways, go ahead, Rich.
Wojo, Wojo, you never told me. You ever go ghost hunting before?
No, I text me. Love you too.
No, have you ever gone ghost hunting? Settle down. Have you ever gone ghost hunting? Your brothers do, or did?
Yes. My brothers, they did a lot of ghost hunting. They're paranormal investigators. Oh my God, back in early '90s, and some of the pictures that they bring, it's just like wild. And actually, with was it St. Augustine? The pictures, and I think he showed you a couple pictures. Right?
Yeah, he did.
outside that was at the church and the playground area, and you can see the figure right there. Pretty wild stuff.
Pretty wild stuff. Brooke, what were you going to say now?
I think that Florida, to your point of the water being a conductor, I also think we're on limestone, and that's a huge thing in the metaphysical realm as well.
Sure is.
So I think that there's just the perfect storm here, and much of Florida is on a ley line, and we have those energy vortex and all that fun stuff here. I mean, we have Coral Castle, Casadega, all built with the idea of the ley lines and Earth's energy in mind.
Yeah. No, you're right. And a lot of the buildings, like you said, were built with stuff like that also. And not only that, Florida has a lot of history. You think that you have to have history of the United States, you got to come to the Northeast because it was the first ones, blah, blah, blah. I got news for you folks. There was a lot more things discovered besides that pebble over in Plymouth. That's so disappointing.
St. Augustine is the world's, or not the world, excuse me.
Our world.
The new world's oldest city.
Yeah.
The oldest city here in America.
That's right. And people don't realize that because you associate it with new buildings and developments and people. And
yeah, but you're right, though. I know everyone's mind goes to Plymouth and the Mayflower, but actually, St. Augustine was around long before that.
Way
long time.
Yes, long time. You're right. And a lot of it was built, like you say, limestone and things like that. So yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, I think all of it combined, Florida's just loaded with energy, crazy energy. Do you know anything about a Mayaka photo?
Mayaka.
What did I say? What did I say wrong? I say Mayaka?
You're from Boston, so you said it perfect.
Oh wow!
The case gets you guys.
I'm done. You win.
No, so Mayaka is a really cool place. That was one of the very first places I did start investigating when I moved to Florida. And there is this really cool video that's out of Mayaka where it's this like field that is over this water and you can see the skunk ape running. I mean, to me, I think it's legit. And I just love that area. The energy down there is so good. It's got this giant state park there, but there's also so much farmland and it's very rural out there. So a lot of private property. And I just got back from an investigation. There's a piece of land down there called Crowley, and they say it's not associated with Aleister Crowley, but I feel like that's still up for debate.
Yeah.
But it's 191 of private acre private conservation used for educational purposes and things like that. And it butts up to Mayaka. And we had a little bit of activity when we were there. There's also like these haunted houses that are on there, the original standing buildings from the Crowley family. Okay. And we did a paranormal investigation in that house there. But yeah, Mayaka's awesome. Great area.
Is that what Denny's talking about? That what you said a video, he said a photo.
Yeah.
So,
no,
I'm just curious because I wonder if he meant the video. Because the video you're talking about, that dude owns the property, and there was great debate with the town. Is that the same one?
Different one. So
okay, gotcha.
So I know what he's talking about. There is this photo, and I think you can find it around on Reddit. And there's like a palmetto, and then there's like the skunk ape, but it looks very, I don't know, like a demonic monkey type of thing, and it's kind of like that is what it looks like. And then there is an Everglades video that was taken by Dave Shealy down on his area. And there's also a Mayaka video. So.
Wow. Okay. So I'm trying to figure. All right. So I was getting them. You know which one I'm talking about, though, with the gentleman that was been around. That's the most famous one, really.
That's got to be. Yeah. That's got to be probably Shealy's footage.
That's the one you said you believe is legit. Or is that what you were talking about, or no?
No, I was talking about the one from out of Mayaka. There is a video out of Mayaka State Park that is pretty compelling.
Oh, I see it. Hang on.
Yeah.
I think I got this. All right. Video. Oh, there it is. Oh, I know that one. Yeah, 2000. Okay. Oh, yeah. And the one. Wait, now they brought up Dave Shealy's, though. Is that the same? All right, I'm so confused. This is the one I'm talking about. The one where he's just walking through the tall grass.
Okay.
In a swamp. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think that one's from the Everglades.
Yeah, definitely from the Everglades. Yeah. This has been around forever. It's from 2000. Right?
Yeah, that's probably the one. Yep.
Yeah, that guy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm familiar.
My arms are only so that isn't the Mayaka that you're talking about.
No.
Why did they bring me to that when I specifically asked for Mayaka?
I don't know.
Why are people so mean to me? Oh, there it is. Hang on. Oh, is this the one with the fan looking thing in front of him?
I think that's the picture one. Mm-hmm.
Is that palmetto or something? What is that called?
Yes.
Is that
palmetto.
correct? Yes, I nailed it.
You're gonna get your Florida badge by the end of this episode.
Yeah. Yes. Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah. What is that? Do you think you believe that that's legit?
I mean, it's pretty freaky.
It is pretty freaky, but it looks. I mean, I wish it would stand up.
Yeah.
Because it looks a lot like primate, which brings me to this. Now that I don't know, I have ADD. It brings me everywhere all the time. So it wasn't like I was thinking of this question. Primate, primitive human, both.
Ooh, so I personally am not in the primate camp. But if I come across some evidence or my work takes me someplace else, I'm pretty open-minded, and I've made that a blanket that I go where the data takes me. And if I'm presented with something that challenges my own theories or opinions, I will change my mind or opinion. But I personally really like the human hybrid theory of it, the giants of old and some of that. That's my own personal favorite theory, but I always keep an open mind to listening to what other people have to say and what they think, because I mean they have some pretty good arguments for Gigantopithecus and other things.
Yeah, but I've left that building. I have left that building. No offense to anybody that stays in that building. That's perfectly fine. MK, that is my fault. I've confused everybody. Welcome to Banter with Richie B live. you won't know where up and down is by the time you leave here. But no, I feel the same way. And Wojo loves the Giants, right, Woj?
Oh yeah, the Lovelock Cave, the history of the Paiute Indians, and it's pretty bizarre, especially that when they captured the female giants, supposedly they mated them, and you kind of wonder how that coincides with the Bigfoot, dark hair, between like 8 to 10 feet tall. Maybe back, they thought they were building their own army back then, but I just find that pretty fascinating with the whole giant theory of around here in Massachusetts. They've been finding a lot of the tombstones everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Of giants, yeah.
Well, yeah, and you guys have the mounds. I mean, we have mounds here too, but you guys have a lot of mound activity up there also.
A lot of mound activity, yes. A lot of mound activity. We don't know the history of that. Everybody associates it to the Native American culture, the society that was here long before us. And the giants are definitely a real thing, I think. I mean, there's bones. But also, and I've said this forever, like we've been out in the woods the other day. We were just out yesterday. The ferns are like almost up to here on me. Not that I'm super tall, but still, when I was a kid, they would be down to my shins and I'd run through the ferns. And now they're huge again, right? Yeah. Why would you have huge dinosaurs, huge birds, huge plants, huge bugs, huge snakes, huge fish, and small humans with little toothpicks trying to kill them all? It doesn't make any freaking sense. I don't want to hear about the land mass connecting crap, all that stuff. I don't want to hear about any of that stuff. You know what I mean? I'm more like what you just said. I believe, and not only that, as one thing I liked, wherever my research would take me, is basically what you said. And that's the beauty. If you are doing this, that mindset is perfect, because whether you like it or not, the research is going to take you off of what you probably thought you knew.
Yeah, no, that's very true.
Just saying, right? Because we have frequencies. I think they're on a higher frequency than you and I are, right? So unless you're a psychic or a medium. Now, psychic or mediums are also on a higher frequency than someone that doesn't have that type of sensitivity. Would you agree?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. So why can't a primitive Bigfoot be on a higher frequency than a medium or a psychic? Why can't they? And then Damien talked about cloaking, and we've had experiences with the self-illuminating.
Oh, talk to me. I have too.
Yeah, we have footage of it, and I was pretty freaked out about it, and that's why his eyes look like they do, because that's what I saw in the woods.
Yeah,
and he was really tall.
No, I've also seen the self-illumination of the eyes. And to answer, I saw a question in the chat that said, what color do you see more? The colors that I've seen are red and white. Those have been the colors that I've come in contact with.
I'd have to agree with that. And I had a white with ones I was seeing as white with a greenish hue. I think Wojo was there for that. The only time I've ever seen the red, Wojo was onto this before I was, and I just wasn't there yet. You know what I mean? And I said to him, I'm just not here yet. You know what I mean? I just have to have more experiences with things and really build up this type of belief, even with what was happening to me in my backyard in the woods. Even with having them run by us at 60 feet and watching the black, of the back or whatever run through the trees. And I can almost see him pushing the trees behind him. You know what I mean? But it wasn't a 40-foot high, my name's Rich encounter. So you and I are along the same lines as that as well. I need a high five from the dude. You know what I mean? Yeah. To really get to that 100, right? And the self-illuminating eyes, when we were walking out the path, they were. But we also knew that there were houses off in a distance. So you're being very cautious. You know what I mean? But there was too many. There was like 8 of them. And I'm like, there's not 8 houses with, all this nonsense that we would be able to see. And then there's a crest of a hill that goes up. And then that was a factor. And then there's all the forest. That's a factor. So I'm sitting here like looking around, really trying to assess. I had my phone out because I do YouTube live all the time with everybody on the side too. And I don't know if I was grabbing it. It wasn't really sticking to me. You know what I mean? I was like, what is going on here? And, Wojo's like, could that be eyes? I said, I'm not saying that word. I'm not going to say that word. Those are lights. You know what I mean? I just wasn't there. And lo and behold, I looked up to my left up here, just went like this. Why? I don't know. Just went up like this. And it was about 50 feet from us. We know the tree because we know our research, our nook and cranny research area, kind of like what you were saying before. Those little nooks and crannies that you have in your head that you know everything about, right? And I see this one red, just like you see behind me right now. See the one? Mm-hmm. And I sat there staring at it going, why is there a red light up in that tree like 10 feet up?
Yeah.
And he's on a hill, so it was more like 12 feet, right? So I'm doing this. And I see the one eye now, the one light, and I'm going, why is that one red?
That's interesting. I have a very similar story about that.
It's getting creepy, man.
With the singular light. So that's something I got to tell you about.
All right, cool. Because I'm going to tell you what happened after you tell me what happened with you.
Okay, cool. So so I was on a scouting trip for a BFRO expedition that was going to happen in February. And it was November. And we were up scouting in the Panhandle, looking for spots and investigating and things like that. So that's where I had my encounter where I saw the 2 eyes. They were up in the tree, probably about that 8-9 feet up. I'd seen them. Then I wound up shining my flashlight and I made contact with it and I got that up, down motion, and then it was gone. So I had already seen something there. Now, fast forward to the expedition in February. We had gone back to the same location to a spot that we had already scouted. And it was really cool because in the woods, there was this like natural bowl that kind of went down and it was all clear and you had these tall pines. And so we're like, okay, this is perfect. So we set out some firewood and things like that. And then we came back at nighttime and we were just going to sit, light a fire, hang out, do some provocations, see if we had any activity we were going to do, like, sending people out and things like that. And we'd broken up into small groups. Everybody had radios and everybody had their own spot. And where we were, there's like a river. And basically where I had seen the eyes was right over here. And then we're here and the river's there. So all really close in the same area. And when I had seen the eyes in November, I was with 2 other people, but I was the only one who had seen it. Mm. Now, fast forward, we're in February, and I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden, I see this red light, and I'm like, oh, God, not again.
Right.
And so I'm like, guys, look at that. And there's nobody back there. Like, where we are, I can't even stress how much people do not go to this particular area. We were completely alone. And I see this light and I shout to the other people who were with me, and then they turned and they saw it and we observed it. It was under 10 seconds, but we got to see it and we're watching it and it kind of like lowers and then it's gone. But remember, we're kind of in that bowl.
Yes.
So something could potentially come and view us without feeling like it's going to be exposed or anything like that. And there was absolutely nothing back there. No other groups, no other people. So that was pretty freaky. That was pretty
freaky, right?
And it was a singular red light. So I just had to.
I appreciate that. And it had that like motion where it does this.
Yeah.
And what happened with me was, I still wasn't getting it. Like you just got it when you saw that, right? So you were like, all right, hey guys, look at this. Mm-hmm. I still wasn't there. And I swear, and I'm not trying to get weird on everybody, but it was like the thing wanted to say, oh yeah, I got something for you. Yeah. And it went like this. This is what I remember. And I can still see it as I'm telling you. And it went like this. And then there were two of them. Just says like this, two eyes, right? Okay, Wojo's back. And then there were two eyes like this. And it looked right at me. Mm-hmm. And then went right back up to where it was and back to one. And I said to Wojo, and I'm on my YouTube live, I'm like, is that a head or a neck? I mean, like I was just stunned. And I go, it just showed me that it had a head and that it was proving to me what I thought it was. It was.
Right.
There was no ifs, ands, or doubts about it any further at that moment. Self-illuminating eyes with intelligence, looked right at me and went right back up to where it was one eye again. Absolutely blew my mind. And the other cool thing was that same night we were getting lit up on this path. I heard movement as these guys were all kind of freaking out over the lights in the eyes, like talking, discussing it, right? And I heard movement back here to my left. So I look and there's something just kind of dots behind the tree. It's nighttime.
Yep.
And so I thought it was a firefly, but it was cold and it wasn't firefly season. But again, my mind searches for the rational, right? So I'm like, oh, maybe that was a firefly. So I think it was the next investigation. It wasn't long after that. It was a couple of days maybe. We went back out there and I went down by that tree. It was kind of messing with my head a little bit. But I went around it and to the bottom and we casted what we believe is a handprint.
That's interesting.
And it was down a hill, but the tree was right here. And then off to its right, there was another impression, right, Roj, in the leaves, right? And Mojo saw that one, right, Roj?
Yeah. So we
what it looked like,
and it was dark, But the following day, the leaves fell on it. And Richie's like, "Where is it?" I go, "Well, is it right here?" He goes, "No, I thought it was higher." But then I'm looking, I go, "Well, what's this compression?" So we moved the leaves. Well, we believe, because there's a hill right in front, that we believe that like it had its hand down, but it had its knee down, and it's kind of doing this. So that's why it was peeking out.
It all made sense.
Oh, that's why, because Richie's like, "Dude, what are those light up flies called? What, fireflies?" He goes, "I just saw one. There it goes again." I just looked over.
I thought it was yeah.
I mean, look, I know we kind of like we're like kind of like freaking out, but I could hear the noise back there, slamming on the breaking of the little snaps of the twigs there. But
yeah, I was freaked out.
But it's probably in a squatted position with the knee down and everything. But,
yeah, and when we cast the hand, it was like into the earth. It was it reached into the compost deep into the hill and kind of pulled itself up with that. You could almost see the curl in the finger.
That's interesting. One of my research partners, Marion, a family member of hers had a sighting on their property. And this was the second time that this family member had seen the skunk ape. This is here in Florida. And now the second time, when you said handprint, I was like, I got excited because he was riding on this dirt bike trail and doing jumps and things like that. And he looks over and he sees a skunk ape watching him while he's taking the jumps and everything. And all of it, but when he catches eyes with it, it goes down, just as you're saying, it goes down. Yeah. So of course he runs off. He wound up grabbing her and somebody else, and they wound up going to check this thing out. And I actually have a picture of it. I'll send it to you. And I think it's on my Facebook as also, or Instagram, if people want to check that out too. It was in the dirt, and she clearly got this like picture of this giant handprint. And then there were these, I'm trying to remember it right now. I think it's like the palmettos, when you rip them up, the root balls are edible. I think they call it, like you can make cabbage and like stew and stuff like that out of it. And so these things had been shredded and eaten, like something was eating a snack, just watching them ride. And
that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. See that, it's funny because that skunk patch that I was telling you about, the skunk cabbage patch, and that's why I think the skunk ape smells like a lot, like a skunk, because I think that's a lot of its diet down there, to be honest with you. But they pull them up, and they eat they eat all of it really. But I know it's not like deer nibbling the top of the leaves. You know what I mean? So that's interesting because same kind of mentality, right?
Yeah. And Bigfoot World, they also got a casting of a handprint from one of the areas that they research in as well.
Really? Interesting. I got a question.
It is. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Damien Smith. Damien's a dude from Scotland. He's one of those thinkers. And he says, with being female, do you feel you attract more male sassy, or do females show more interest? Oh,
that's a great question.
Yeah. Have you had an incident close enough to tell? I mean,
no, I have not, but I will say, there has been a time on that same expedition where we heard this howl just go out, this crazy howl, and to me it sounded more female. But that's the only time that I really could say, ooh, that sounds like a female squatch. Other than that, I would have no way of determining the gender. I haven't gotten that close to see.
Yeah, Wojo, all right, Wojo. Wojo's dying. He's chomping at the bit. Is your dog snoring yet, Wojo?
I kicked the dog out.
Yeah, his dog snore. So sometimes in the show, I'm sitting here thinking I'm hearing EVPs. It's just his dog snoring. I keep picking up on the microphone. But Wojo, tell her about the female thing we were talking about. Tim Gayhart picked it out from Ohio Bigfoot. He was kind of on top of it. I think it was one of our lives, right?
Yeah, it was. It was one of our lives. I think it was like me, you, and Sky, and out in the woods, and we're hearing whoops and whatever. But then you hear like a very female-ish high pitch, whoop 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 whoop, right? And then you hear like it was like a different, like a childish pitch, whoop whoop, like that, and then whoop whoop, and then a more guttural whoop. It sounded like a family of three. And we're sitting there like whacking each other, like, dude, it sounds like three of them. Just different pitch. We get that a lot on our recordings. It's just crazy out there. But
right. Yeah. And that's so what we do is when we do our live, do you do any lives out there and have audience and like people watching you?
No.
So we do lives. Like we did a live yesterday. It was like 8,620 something viewed. It was crazy.
Here's the reason. Part of it is a lot of the places I go have no cell signal.
That's a good point.
Yeah. Oh my God. Especially when I do researching in the Panhandle has been by far the worst place for signal. I mean, even at our campground, nothing. So you kind of got to make sure you're prepared and you got what you got, and you're ready for anything.
No, you're right. I get
even in Ocala and our other research area, it can be pretty spotty out there. I mean, there's only sometimes patches of places. So I don't go live a lot because like I said, a lot of places we go, the signal is just horrible. So our phones are purely decoration and there for pictures and videos and audio and things like that. But
excellent. Oh, here we go. Android or Apple?
Apple.
Yeah, boof. Dude, we gotta stop mocking these and like keeping score, bro.
Mm-hmm.
There's an Android donkey down below.
Come on,
dude. It's a freaking tablet. You're on a tablet. You're on a goddamn tablet. That's all it is. I'm on a computer. You're a tablet. Like a little kid can play ABC Mouse on yours for like 3 minutes before it runs out of memory. Shut up.
All the time, Brooke.
All right. Anyways.
Different trees, different soils, what have you. Up here, we get a lot of tree structures, a lot of manipulations of huts, so on and so forth. Have you encountered any like manipulations of the forest or the swamp areas?
Oh yeah. We come across some pretty interesting structures here for sure. We've seen some pretty cool ones. Not sure exactly what they mean, but beautiful arches. We've come with these trees that are clearly pinned down, or other trees that are what we think are not natural breaks that have been kind of put together. Yeah, we do come across those, and there does seem to be a correlation with that and activity. We've noticed.
Right. You just follow the trail.
Yeah.
What we have is like a lot of saplings tied up, so on and so forth. But what's amazing is that we have like a lot of deadwoods, like pine trees, for example, with the knots, that stick out. And what's amazing that they make these like 30-foot X's, and it's just like barely, against those trees, but nothing's broken. What we study is, any structures, whatever, like any, scrapes on the bark, anything like that. It's just perfectly placed. I mean, it's almost like you got autistic traits in there. Like you're just so perfect at what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it doesn't. One good point Wojo brought up a long time ago. I mean, some of these trees fall on this little twig that it's leaning on. The little twig would have broken, and it would just go right through it and down to the ground. How is it leaning on there if it fell that far away and it's like a 30, 40-foot tree, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's like physics.
What?
I mean, like physics. I mean, you have.
We don't talk physics on my show. This is ridiculous.
No, I'm just saying about the tree structures. If they come down, whirlywinds ain't going to make them.
Yes, that's right. If it falls at a 30-degree angle, my LT5 space modulator.
You know what I mean? Like, I just can't. Yeah, I got you. Physics makes sense. You're right. But the one thing, if you think layman's terms, if that falls, it's going to break that damn small, dried ass up pine twig.
Absolutely.
Why is it laying on it and the thing's not broken if it fell? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Before we go too far away from the eyes, would you mind if I showed you a video of what we caught on our game camera?
Oh, I'd love to see it.
I'm going to show you two versions of it. I'm going to show you one from the natural distance that it came from, and then I zoomed it in. Would you like to do that? Let's play a game.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. I got to get
I'm excited.
Music. Hang on. Yeah. Let's see. Here we go. Hang on a minute. It's not the video. Hang on. I'm getting there. Relax. I have a video, intro video. Is the animal still here, by the way? He's got a show on tonight, don't he? All right, check it out. Here we go. See if you can find it on your own.
Oh, gosh. No pressure.
No pressure at all. I'm going to play it.
Oh, I think I see it.
Okay. Ready? I'll do it. It's going again. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I'll loop it too. Watch it.
It's over towards the right, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And there's two.
Oh, yes. Now watch. Keep watching. It's got a loop. It's got a loop for you so you can do a research investigation right here with us. Determination. Tell me the characteristics of it and why it makes it so unique.
I think what makes it unique is that it seems that they're moving in parallel. Instead of it maybe being two separate things, I think it's just one big thing because it's not like one's moving, then the other one's moving. They appear to be moving in tandem.
You are 100% exactly on the same thought line as us.
It's pretty big.
Correct. And this brings up to the question about, I guess, cloaking, because when we got this footage, I have to order the videos. It's a satellite, so when I see something, I got to request it. So I just requested it because I had no explanation for anything. And then this started moving, and then I was like, "Oh my god!" And Wojo had called me like, "Rich, you got to check that out." Yes, the Dovey Blinky. One side. Watch the left one. Watch the left one right about here.
Mm-hmm.
Does that look? It flashes. You see it flash?
Yep.
Right. So when we're looking at this, remember the same characteristics of the movement that we just shared. You told me about your story with the eye, right? Where it's kind of just moving a little bit. It has that little curious movement about itself. You know what I mean? Yeah. It has all the things that you talk about when it's associated to Sasquatch. It really does. And it's crazy, right? So watch this. I'll bring it up close for you if you're ready.
I'm ready.
Nailed it. You nailed it right in the head. And that's why I like to do things organically, because it's like we're not trying to, we didn't have this conversation backstage. I just presented this to you now. And it's great to get other researchers' point of view to some of our evidence,
Exactly.
Is that wild or what?
That's freaky.
That is wild. Now, this is about 60 feet from our camera, so to speak. What did you say, Woj?
Yeah. Just watch that right eye. See how that little shadow here?
Yeah.
It's pretty wild.
So,
I'm sorry.
No, you. It's your show. I'm just here to hang out for 10 minutes. I'm leaving.
All right. Hi. No. So right where that area is, there's actually a big pine tree right across from this little creek, and we did find a big compression of 18 inches by 8 1/4.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that, context is everything. And I've been pushing that theory for a while now. Context, right? Because it's not fair to present something to somebody that's a researcher and not at least give some context. I wanted you to say what you were seeing organically and then have the discussion of context. So, so to me, it has the same motions they talk about. Like, it's kind of curious. Maybe it was cloaking. And then I was thinking,
that thought crossed my mind too.
Right? Like, maybe what I was thinking was this: it's not the self-illuminating eyes. This is actually eye shine,
right?
Because they're in a cloak and the IR light's hitting them, and maybe they just don't know that that's what happens if you're hit with an IR when you're cloaking. They might think that they're safe.
Yeah, or
go for it.
Due to how wide it seems to be, what if that's like the head, and like you said, maybe you're getting something showing you the size of the head, and you're getting that.
Yeah, and that's the distance of the eyes apart from one another.
Right.
100%. I totally agree with. But the cloaking thing, again, it's one of those things where I'm not totally there yet. You know what I mean? But I'm finding things as I go through my research with the term that you use so eloquently earlier. And I agree 100% that's where the research takes you places, right?
It definitely does.
And this is one of the things that fall under that umbrella for me, that staring at this over and over again, I'm going, dude, like, seriously, like you said, they're moving in unison. They're separated apart equally throughout the whole video. And it's pretty amazing. It's a pretty cool piece of footage for me. And to present it to other researchers and get your input is huge, right? Let's see. Oh, so structures. So you're good with structures.
Oh yeah, we come across them all the time.
Do you name your structures, the types of them?
Well, yeah. So X's, arches, pointers, things like that. We even came across one that was like a and an X all in one. Those are kind of strange, or like a triangle. That was pretty interesting.
Wojo.
Love this girl already.
Dude, it just happened yesterday.
Yes, this
you guys came across one?
I'm gonna get it right now. I can't believe you just said that. I knew you were gonna say something profound.
Just exactly how she described it to a T.
Dude, that's crazy.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about, Brooker.
Now I need to find the picture and send it to you real quick.
He called you Brooker.
I've been called worse. That's fine.
Right? I can relate, Brooker. Hang on a minute. That is amazing. Good job, Wojo.
This is actually, I'll send you the structure. My girl Kathy, Bigfoot World, we found this together when we were out investigating, and I'll send you a couple pictures from different angles, because when you looked at it, and then we found this like pine cone that wasn't just like fell there, it was like shoved in. And she has video on her YouTube of that day that we were out investigating, and she was like, go see if this is like just fallen in there or not. And when I went to go grab it, it was like shoved in there. Dude. I'll have to send it to you.
No, we have something very similar to that, and I have them with mushrooms as well.
Yes.
Oh, that's interesting.
Oh yes, it is awesome. This is
with
so
mushrooms.
Yeah, so where I told you where we got that hail and the peat moss where the huts are, Inside it, we have a picture of one of the most profound compost footage footprints. Richard, speak. Footprints I had ever seen. It was the big guy in this hut that we suspected that's where they would stay in. Sure enough, there was this footprint. And then next time we went back, or 2 times later, we went back, and on this, they're laurels mostly, and the laurel have a lot of branches that break off of it and stuff. And there was a mushroom that was pulled from the ground. You could still see the dirt and root on it.
Oh,
and
wow.
It went like this, and this is the branch like this, right? And the top of the mushroom was hooked on the branch that went straight up, and then the stem went down the shape of the branch that was parallel like this. It was hooked on that branch as if to say, "Here I am, dude." And I was
That's
like,
interesting.
"Oh, all right, let me see here. I see what you got."
Let's see. Or I sent it to you. I don't know if this is easier.
Oh yes, or not. No. I'm going to show. I think I can pull it up.
You got it. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not a digital creator. Like I have 2 producers to run my show. All right, because that's how crazy my brain gets. All right, and I love them both dearly. They're awesome. All right, hang on 1 second here.
Brooke,
I've learned
one last thing on the
oh no. You call her Brooker now. You made up the name. You live with it.
Brooker. So I shine. So I purposely stayed behind when we were leaving. We had our team leave, including Richie, and they would go out of the driveway, take a right. While we have these eye shines, right there by the road, and you can see when they were leaving, 2 of them, the heads just turned like this.
Oh.
Watch. Simultaneous, just at the same time, turned and looked at me. I'm like, "All right, thank you. Time for me to go. Enjoy your peanut butter," because we left them like treats and stuff. I'm like, "Have a nice day." I'm like,
yeah,
but
she hasn't seen our
crazy, of the shine. It's just bizarre. It's so bright.
It is, and especially when you see it for the first time. I think it's definitely changed the way that I look at things, for sure.
Yeah, but it's proven my point, like that they are there. Well, whatever's there actually physically turned and watched Richie leave. He was the last one to leave. And I'm like, oh my God, they're watching him leave. And then they turn back to me. I'm like, that is bizarre.
Yeah, they're like, ooh.
It was pretty crazy. So I'm going to show you. I'm going to bring up one. Oh, there it is. I'm going to show you one here. I got to go back in and get them because it's restream, and I didn't set up because we're here doing this live. So this is something that I've only found twice in almost 10 years of research. And this, it's kind of highlighted, but see if you pick it out anyways, what it is.
Excuse me.
What's so intriguing about this X?
I'm zooming in real quick. Well, from what I can see, it looks like perhaps that the bark is missing from those areas.
Close, but no. It's even better. It's absolutely profound. Think profound.
You found a handprint on it?
No, it's interlocking. It's interlocking.
I do see that.
Well, yeah, one side goes front of the tree, the other side goes back of the tree, and both. I've only found 2 of these ever. Is that crazy?
That's pretty crazy.
That's crazy, man. Mother Nature don't do that.
No.
Magic whirlywinds are not interlocking X's in the trees, people. Not happening. Isn't that beautiful? I love it so much. I can stare at it all day. I'm so weird. All right, moving on. Sorry. Oh, wait. You guys still here? I thought you left. All right, here we go. Here we go. Check it out. Boom, boom. Wait, where'd Brooks go? Brooks sent me. I just looked at it. I have to go do it again? Oh, no, I don't. I found you, fool. All right, here we go. Talking to the others. This is in Florida right here, guys. See that?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's got the A shape, but it has a little extra for the X.
Yeah, and right in the middle there, up at the top, it's hard to see, but that other tree is like wedged in there.
Yeah,
like it's like locked in. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's from one side of it. So you see, we've got the X, this A, this triangle, and then on the other side, where the rest of the tree is, how it's wedged in there, like almost like a fork.
Yes.
We found that pine cone shoved in there.
Oh, I love it, man. I love it. We had another mushroom. I found 2 mushrooms. The other one I found, remember, Woj, I had to climb a tree to get it.
Yeah.
It was a ground mushroom, and it was on a structure, but it was like 15 feet up the tree on the side, hooked onto a branch. And I said, dude, come on, man. How's that get there? That ain't happening. Mr. Squirrel ain't doing that. Stop. I'm not listening to that crap. I think that's cool as hell. And I want to welcome the one, the only elder medicine bear claws here, Tanse. Welcome. Oki. Aho. She helped us kind of talk to the Satanyas with native tongue, so to speak. So it helped.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yep. And she's been very well, like very helpful in guiding us and helping us. She makes amazing smudge kits. And wait. I got it. Medicine bag of protection right there. Need your stuff. It's all in there and it's blessed by the elders. So reach out to Elder Medicine Bear Claw and she will hook you up.
I think I'm going to have to do that.
Oh, she's amazing. Great help. She's been amazing for us. But we have found these types of things like this. And you know, one of the things, speaking of language, and we'll get to the vocal part of this whole thing. But one thing to think about before we get there. We actually had a recording that we sent out to a linguist, and he said it was words. He said, you know, language, so to speak, guttural, the whole 9 yards. And so we've been using that language to yell back out to the woods, and we've gotten responses from it. It's crazy.
That is interesting.
Oh, and then I go blap, blap, like that, and that's what we heard on the recording. And we've gotten soft taps, and we had a juvenile type scream from the behind us. It was crazy. It's all live on YouTube. Everybody can watch it. I don't record and then come out of the woods. You can see and hear things. It's not always easy to hear. I don't have top-notch equipment. You know what I mean? But anyways, we'll get to that. But I love the structure. I think it's awesome. What do you think of that, Woj?
Yeah, it almost looks like, remember that letter A?
Wait. I'm getting to it.
Oh boy, I love it.
I'm getting to it. I worked hard on this.
Would you say it's like about 18 inches in diameter?
No, but this one from yesterday.
Yes.
Look at the bottom. The A is off the ground. It's actually off the ground, and it looked like an A. But if you go up top, that's an X too.
Yeah.
Yep. And you have that vertical one going across. Yeah. Or horizontal. Oh gosh. Don't come for me.
No.
She's figured us out early.
I'm dyslexic.
You can be whatever you want to be on the BanterWithRichieB podcast. Trust me. No, isn't that cool though? But the A with the X, and we just found that yesterday. We just saw that yesterday. We were super excited about it. A has some meaning in there, folks. A has some kind of meaning, and we know X does. So.
Well, I did an interview with Barnaby Jones, and he does research out of Wisconsin. And he said that and I was like, I need to try this next time I'm out just to kind of see. And so you should try it too. We'll see if it works. He had found a structure, and he said it was kind of like a map to the game trails in the area. And when he would follow it, it led him to another structure and then to another structure. But he said it kind of happened in this one particular area. He tried to replicate that same kind of thought process experiment in another spot and didn't have the same type of results. I've yet to try it, but I'd love to give it a go just to see, because it's interesting. And then we were kind of chatting to see, like, what does it mean? Does it mean different things for different families or tribes of them or regions? Are the meanings behind these structures vary from place to place?
I that's a great question too. But all right, so I've been big on structures for a long time, and I've been, I guess, associated with other researchers that have been around a long time, and have climbed a pretty big mountain and stuff. So when I came in and I was this new guy, and I'm like, yeah, structures, are real, and they're like, yeah, okay. All scientific type people, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, so my argument would be, how can you be scientific in a non-scientific field? It didn't make any sense to me. We have some science, yes, but it's not directly correlated or tied to or connected to Bigfoot. It's unknown. We all know what it is. We all have a good feeling of what that is, but we can't just say it's scientific, right? So to me, these structures are, and what we've had conversations with Wojo, and I have had a lot of conversations. This is why we make a great team. Wojo hunted for many years, and we can stand there and look at something and have this discussion. We think there's a number of reasons, definitely regional, definitely clans, definitely communication, water this way, food source that way. All that's true. But we have areas where we call the college, the university, the high school, the elementary school, like different areas where it's a smaller area, but everything's just shattered, just sticks everywhere. And we believe it's a combination of a deer trap We think it's a combination of teaching their young how to make these structures. So nothing has bark on it, and it's all unexplainable, up and down, over and under, crazy stuff, right? So we believe there's a combination of that. We believe that a lot of it is food source. So a deer's running down the game trail, and then you changed it up, the deer automatically stops and does this. And when the deer does that, he ends up getting his little leg shattered and carried off. And I have many shattered bones around my studio here with marrow like taken out of them. And they're shattered, like snapped, fractured, broken in half, no marrow. There's no animals up here that do that. Nothing. And there's no teeth puncture wounds like it's, something trying to rip it. Nothing. It is just snap. So a lot of the theory is the forearm across the legs, pick it up, carry it, it's dead. It's over. It's party's done.
Yeah.
So, stuff like that, so the structures play a very important part, I think, in all that stuff. And I don't know, Wojo and I, we'll sit there talking all day about them. It's funny because what's the new game camera, right? Is in the college, what we call the college, right? So we keep a game camera out there. Obviously, you can see that. So you can't really see a lot of the college here. But we keep moving our game camera around. So that's one of the big things. So vocals, have you picked up on any vocals and things like that while you're out there? Have you recorded any? Have you heard any?
Any vocals?
Yeah, like what types of sounds are you hearing? Do you believe in mimics?
I do.
You do? Okay. All right, go ahead. I want to hear this.
Yeah, no, I definitely do. So I have had some experience with vocals. Like we were talking about that really crazy howl that we got one time when we were out researching. That was at a nighttime investigation, and one of the guys I was with had, like the old pop guns. He had one of these, and we knew some other researchers were coming and they were going to post up like down the road. So he was like, listen, let's go ahead and try to do a provocation before they get here. Like, because we were on this expedition and they were going to be setting up. And so we got out and we're like, went right into it. We're like, all right, let's do it. And so he lets it off. Pop, 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 3 pops. And then no sooner did he do that, we get this like blood curdling howl scream in response. And then once we got that howl, all of a sudden it set off the coyotes. So 2 very different things. And then the rest of that night we had major activity happen from really basically that point on. But it was good that we did it, because then after we got that owl, no joke, like 45 seconds later, they come barreling down the road and we can hear them. They have their windows down and they're like talking and jamming and everything. So we were so happy that we did it when we did, because we got back that response. So I have heard those howls. And then we also have heard things, and I know a lot of people are on the fence about it, things that sound like owls, but not sure,
crazy.
Not quite, they sound like owls, but they're different.
She's been watching our shows and not telling us, Wojo. That is absolutely crazy, dude.
Yeah. Or, and I think it's interesting too, because still with like, they say like the wood knocks, I like to enjoy the conversation that could also be just from their mouths, that they could be popping. Yeah. Something with inside them, because here's the thing. You're not always going to find a tree that you can get that Louisville slugger crack from. So when we're talking vocals, I almost feel like those wood knocks fall into that category. And if that's the case, we've also gotten those back in responses to different provocations that we try to do.
Correct. So, all right. So you sound more and more like me as this interview goes on. It's very weird. Wojo, is it weird?
Oh my God.
Dude, it's so weird. So I'm going to tell you a story. MK, we're not on stream yet. We're on restream. So no, it is not that easy in this case. But thank you for your input, sir. Enjoy the beverages. All right, here we go. So in my backyard, I gained a little bit of attention, I guess, as time went on. And people came out to investigate, but I was very cautious about it because I had kids growing up there and, all that stuff. It's my yard, So anyways, I was very selective about who I brought out there. So one gentleman, he was associated with a 4-letter place and a local page as well. and very nice dude. And we're actually going to be doing some speaking side by side with him and stuff this summer. And so very knowledgeable, lots of years of experience. So he came out with us, and I had an author and I guess you could say a historian of the Bridgewater Triangle area that wanted to do a chapter in her book about myself. So we went out to my property and I showed him, and the whole time we were out there, I kept hearing like this little crunching. Like, my hearing is ridiculous, but I kept hearing this crunching, and it was always in their formation. They always have this formation, and if there's a third one, it's a triangle. He's right at the point. So I kept going, hey, you guys hear that? You know, and I'm like, oh, this dude's going to think I'm the Bigfoot guy. You know what I mean? But I knew what I was hearing. I'm not, I know I'm locked in. I knew I was hearing. So I'm showing them all the structures, all the areas and stuff. Long story short, we do about a 2-hour investigation, research my backyard. We're coming back, take all that gear off. I put it on the ground. We're at the end of my game trail where that opening is, where that tree got snapped I told you about, right? So I have my phone in my hoodie pocket, and we're sitting there, we're talking, and I hear that crunch again. And then he goes, what kind of duck is that? Duck. So I've been here for years, man. I ain't never heard no duck out here. Is that forest duck? You know what I mean? Kind of funny, And then all of a sudden you hear it. There was one over here, and he made this the samurai conversation. He went, something like that, right? Just, I can't say it exactly, but that's what it sounded like. And then he stopped, and we all went like frozen. And then there was one off to the left. He did it, but he was bigger, and he said something different. He was like that. And now we're like, I'm reaching for my phone, and I'm going, they're close. Am I dead if I pull this thing out and they don't know what it is, or whatever the case might be, or will the experience stop, right? Mm-hmm. So the first one picked back up and started going back to them. Now, here's why I agree with you 100% in your last theory about the knocking sound. When it got done the second time, the one off the right, mind you, their formation was exactly as I heard them throughout the investigation. So this guy went back, he goes, and then there was this loud, like a pop, but to me, I associated it with a chest pop, right? Not a tree knock, right? So then the second one had picked up after that, like a period, so to speak, and said it, and then he did it at the end of his second sentence, and it sounded like a tree knock, but I knew where they were located. It's my backyard. I know this place. There was no perfect tree. There was no perfect Louisville slugger. There was nothing. It had to be a physical vocal sound for that to be done. Mm-hmm. And I remember looking up at Dave, and Dave at the time was like this, like, what the hell did we just hear? And he's an experienced, seasoned guy. And I'm like, dude, is that the Sierra Sounds? Is that the Sierra Sounds? I kept saying it to him. That's the Sierra Sounds. Yeah. And he goes, I think it's time for us to go, because they were really close. So we backed out. I waved to the woods like a crazy person. Thank you, And he goes, I think they're here because of you, bro. I said, what are you talking about? He goes, I think they're here because of you. He goes, you respect them. They respect you. I'm telling you, you just don't get that tight. He goes, I have people that see them all the time that are, as they call the knowers, one of the worst phrases ever. It's kind of like a squatchy, those two words drive me nuts. But they said they've never heard him talk before, and that my experience was crazier than theirs. And I'm like, come on, dude. But it was pretty nuts. But so I'm, as a one researcher to another, I've just proven your theory to you. No, seriously, that happened to me. Yeah. And I know they were in a bush, and there was no tree for them to knock on. Yeah. Next time you hear that, that's what you're hearing. I'm telling you, you're right. Off in the distance, yeah, I get it. They do both. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So
yeah, it's definitely possible. And I've heard people seeing them hit rocks and things like that. So they do utilize different things, but I think that there is some of that it is coming from their bodies.
You're spot on. You're absolutely spot on. And like I said, I experienced it in that way. And, when people see it and they're like, I'm a knower, you know what I mean? Well, I heard it, and I guess I'm a knower when it comes to the sound and the language, because I've heard it like up close and personal. Yeah. Have you ever been surrounded, say, flanked? Anything like that type of experience, scary like that, where you feel like maybe, you were a little nervous, so to speak?
No, not in that sense. I have been places where I've gotten bad feelings, but even when we were out with our group, Bigfoot World, there was a time in which that we were in the forest and we're doing this investigation in this really like off the beaten path area, and we kept getting like a smell. And so that was interesting because that's another thing. Even if you're just out in the woods, you're hiking, you need to be aware of what animals are out there and what smells that they put out. Because, and look behind you, because we have panthers here, bobcats, things like that. And they could totally jump out and attack you. Same thing with coyotes or bears or whatever. So you just have to be aware because there's other things out there besides Bigfoot that you need to be prepared for.
She crazy, bro.
Something happens.
Oh, yeah.
So we're picking up on the smell. Kathy and I were smelling it. The rest of the group, but we were kind of in the front. And so I think by the time maybe it got down that way, it maybe dissipated. But we're continuing on, and we have this smell that we keep getting whiffs of. And then we go off trail and we're checking out some things. And that's when one of our researchers heard a pop over here, heard like 2 cracks, and then another one over here, 2 cracks. And so it's getting dark. We're having these things happen. We're hearing those wood knocks, air quotes. And we're having all of this stuff happen. And then we wind up sitting there for a little while and then going back to leave the area. And the smell is back again. We keep catching whiffs of this just disgusting odor, like urine mixed with, I don't know, it's just a really nasty, nasty smell. So that might be the only time I could say, like, maybe we've experienced maybe being flanked or followed by something. But that was really interesting.
That same exact thing has happened to us, and it's been in my backyard. And Mojo, when he first came along, he asked me, you ever get the smell? And I'm like, nah, I never really smell anything. You know what I mean? And I never thought of that. And you always hear about that awful musty dog, wet dog smell, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And we were in my backyard, and I got this really, really strong old urine smell.
It was nasty.
It's nasty. And we went in there one time at dusk, and we were just having a day. We're like, dude, we need some nature. Let's just go turn this around. And we walk in, and we're near a path. I remember it was barely light out, and I lifted a fern because I saw it was all compost, but this pot was dark mud. So I've learned what to look for walking through compost constantly. And I looked down, and I go, dude, that's a print. And I moved the fern like this, and I went, it hit me. That smell hit me. And I said, I was calling Wojo over. I'm like, dude, I can smell it. I got that smell. I'm trying to tell him. And it went away instantly. And I went, oh, shit. And I knew what was happening. I knew I was going to smell it again. And sure enough, I smelt it again. And I went, oh, it's back. And just as soon as I said that, it seconds later? Oh, something like that. I can't remember exactly, but it was close to when I finished that sentence.
Yeah.
The woods blew up about 60 feet behind us. Something's running through the woods, massive, smashing trees, crunching things. And I just stand up and go, what the fuck? I just scream, what the fuck? It's kind of my thing. I should get it copyrighted when I'm out there doing Sasquatch work. I yell. I can't help it. You're supposed to be quiet so you can collect evidence. All you hear is, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
The high pass, though, the breakage. I mean, that's what goes through you. You can feel that energy because you can hear 4 heavy footprints just slamming down, and then
silence.
Total silence. I'm like, what does that? Created all that chaos, the whole tree line shaking, and then that was it.
Yeah, and then you hear, and then I look at Wojo and I go, now they're gonna come for him. And he looks at me and goes, what do you mean? And then again, 10 seconds later, you hear this whistle come through the woods as long as a train.
And
I look right at him and I go, well, there they are.
Wait, you said you're in that Bennington Triangle area, so that
Bridgewater.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
You're in Vermont with that comment.
I was gonna say, that's Vermont.
Bridgewater Triangle.
Bridgewater.
You ever had whistles?
I know of other folks who have. I haven't experienced any whistles myself personally. No.
Yeah, it's a distraction tactic to get their little buddy out of trouble that he just got himself caught up in. You know what I mean? So you go like this, and then he gets to move. And how about infrasound? How do you feel about infrasound?
I love the theory of infrasound. I just had a BFRO investigator on, Marcia Clark. She was with the USGS for a long time and has been with the BFRO for, gosh, I don't know, probably at least 2 decades, if not more. And she does a lot of work with that. She's got some awesome equipment, and she's been monitoring the responses that will happen when we're experiencing activity. She's looking at the monitor, and it shows infrasound, and it's really interesting because I think some people are affected by it. I saw somebody asked if I had ever been zapped. I have not, but I know of other people who have been, that could have possibly been a victim of that infrasound. So I think that that's how it comes into play, is that they are able to admit it and focus it on certain people or things. I don't know why. And yeah.
I think I think that's great, and it's funny because you're touching on all the stuff. I feel like I'm on your show. Am I on Doc Floor? Am I on the Doc Floor podcast? What's going on here? All right, somebody's playing tricks on me here. It's amazing because there's a lot of similarities and interest in experience, and that's great. And yes, I've been zapped, and I believe it now. I didn't believe it at first. Again, it was something that I had to really have happen to me and get used to the point where I went to my doctor and got blood work done.
Wow.
It lasted between 3 and 4 days. I was on my bed. I couldn't move. And Wojo literally Googled it finally and was like, dude, you got to talk to the Vogel brothers, man. I think you were zapped. And I'm like, I don't know. You think so? I couldn't move. I was in bed. I was immobilized. It was hard even to get to the doctor to get my blood work. And, no fevers, no throwing up, nothing like. It was just no energy.
Did they find anything?
Nothing, zero. Perfectly healthy, 100% healthy human. And it was right around the time the thing ran by us. And then lo and behold, it happened again. Twice something's run by us. And twice I was hit. And twice I was in my bed for 3 to 4 days and couldn't move. And the second time was like, yeah, well, I'm zapped. I'll see you in a couple of days. Like literally, like it just, and the same exact symptoms, the same exact time frame. It was so crazy, man. And then Wojo experienced it in the woods not too long ago, right, bro?
Well, actually, yesterday was the most recent one.
Oh, yeah. You talked about that yesterday. I forgot about that. I'm sorry I wasn't so sensitive to your feelings.
Brooke goes, okay, this is weird.
No,
leaving.
So we have a gifting chair, and where we were, we heard a something from a distance, and that's when Elder said, like, yeah, there's something to your left. And then that's when it just hit me like, whoa, like your chest, that's the air, everything just feels heavy. I don't know. It's like vertigo. Like I'm just like trying to like focus, and you can't focus. So, the medicine bag that we received, it's got a root. You just take a bite, and it does work. I didn't take it immediately. I took it today because I was at work today, and I'm like, why am I like stumbling everywhere? Like I'm still like, out of it.
Yeah.
So I took a bite of this root, and actually, once it's dissolved into you, it's not feeling better. But I'll tell you, this stuff is real. And while we're on topic, have you ever had any encounters of humming?
No.
Oh, we have it on recording.
But that's so interesting.
Yeah.
It is
Wild.
like, actually, I think we have 2 of them, two separate incidents of
we do. And the second one, I believe, I think it was the first or second, was with the whole boots on the ground investigation team.
Yes.
Yeah, second that we had in the woods. We were taking a break before we left because we like to do quiet listening research too. After you do we do everything. When somebody says, "Oh, you shouldn't do this," well, we do that. When we shouldn't do this, yeah, we do that too. When you shouldn't do this, well, we do all of it. We do every bit of it. And ones you do like, the ones you don't like, the ones you agree with, the ones you don't agree with. We do all of it because, again, folks, we're in a non-scientific field, so nothing is right, nothing is wrong. Just don't be an asshole. That's all. Just don't be disrespectful to the woods. Don't be disrespectful to the creatures. Don't be disrespectful to other researchers. Just don't be an asshole. That's all. And there's nothing wrong with what you're doing. You want to light your ass on fire and put it out with water, hope Bigfoot comes over? I don't know. Whatever the hell you want to do. I don't give a shit. There's nothing wrong in this that you can do except be an asshole. That's it. And we were all standing there discussing it in a circle. And I literally, it was crazy because, was it 5 of us or 6? The Woj. Is he? Wojo. 5 or 6 of us there at that time. You awake?
Yeah, it was about 6 of us.
Thank you, sir.
Sorry.
Brooke, did you see him drift off? I thought he went to sleep. I thought it was his android.
But people, people like
it's just Restream.
I go with Restream and toilet water. No, I'm just messing with you, Woj. So there was like 6 of us, and we were in a circle. And I'll just tell you what I heard and felt. Well, let's put it this way: I heard exactly what I felt. Does that sound weird? It was
humming.
Like,
yeah.
It was like, and it went from one side of. We were in a circle. It went from one side of the circle to the other, and it came from that side. And everybody, 6 of us, looked over that way, and then we all looked back into the circle and went, "Did you guys hear that?" And I felt it. You know what I mean? Like all of it. I felt it too, but we didn't know what to say first. Did you hear and feel that? You know what I mean? It just seems odd, right? But it was a reaction out of 6 researchers for the same thing.
It reverberated through you.
All through us. Yep. And then the one we played back, I heard it in a different way that he heard it, but it came out on the recording both ways.
Were you able to see what hertz that was in?
Oh, that's a great question. No, we didn't do that, did we, Woj? No. Why? What's your theory?
I just was curious.
Huh.
I'd be interested to know what frequency came through. Because certain ones are, and I do it every night. I listen to certain frequency music at night because it's healing and it helps with your body and your cells and stuff. So I was just kind of curious because I mean, frequency wars are a thing. I mean, our government has technology, like look into Havana syndrome. That one's really interesting. It's not Bigfoot related, but it's really interesting. And Havana syndrome is essentially, it happened down in Cuba at our embassy. Different workers who worked at the United States Embassy, they were all reporting these zapped-like symptoms, and they were hearing this hum and this humming thing. So they realized that there's potentially this technology that can direct. It's basically almost like a direct energy weapon, but with that hum and with that frequency. And you can weaponize certain frequencies when you look at water and the frequencies around it. That's why the things we say carry a specific frequency,
right?
And it's charged. So I would be really curious if you were able to see just what frequency that came through us.
No,
and then look that up and see what that correlates to.
Yeah, no, I think that's brilliant. Because I do have an app you can put that in, and it shows the hertz, stuff like that. Because all of them do, really, as far as the HZ goes. But I think that's a brilliant idea, and for such a young person, I'm pretty surprised at where your mind goes. You know what I mean? Sorry to bring up age, but seriously, because it takes a long time sometimes to, you get your experiences when you get your experience. I think your nanny gave it to you really at a young age.
But I love learning. I
can see that.
I don't think I'm ever fulfilled. So I love learning about all kinds of things. And the more you know, and you don't know what you don't know. And then I always say, like with this field, once you find out one thing, it only gives you 10 more questions to look into. So I'm constantly learning. And I think that's a big part of it. Is you have to be willing to learn and be willing to, be patient.
Yeah, be patient and change your learning as you go, right? Change the knowledge, change the knowledge that you gain, and don't be stubborn on your theories,
And exactly, don't stay in echo chambers. You have to be willing to listen to a wide variety of thoughts and opinions and research for sure.
Yeah. So you're right. You're right on with that. And it kind of leads me to a couple of things because you got such a vast mind and sense. What is your favorite piece of evidence you ever collected? Ready?
My favorite piece of evidence I ever collected, besides my sighting, I would have to say some footprints I found in our research area.
Okay. And when was your sighting?
My sighting was last November.
Okay. And was it in your research area?
No.
Why does that happen like that?
Probably 300 or 400 miles away. But still in Florida, but just very far.
Right. And you said it was a little ways away from you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I was up in the Panhandle when I had my sighting.
Yeah, right. And but I mean, it was a little distance away from your eyes. In other words, you didn't get the 40-foot high five that I want.
Right, exactly.
Right.
But in hindsight, it actually was pretty close. But yeah.
So what? All right. So what was the most distinct feature that you picked out during your sighting?
During the sighting was the size of the eyes. They were huge.
Yeah.
They were huge, and then the motion of how it went up, down, in this just really unnaturally fast, freaky way. It was so creepy.
All right. See, that's when you said that earlier, I wasn't putting that together but now that we've had this conversation, I put it together because the movement. All right. So I don't have a no doubter, right? So, but what I saw going through the woods had weird. It was like I said, it looked like it almost was reaching behind itself and bringing the little trees to cover it, not to grab momentum. It wouldn't care if it just ran straight through it, but it was almost side to side, and it was like I told everybody it's like a welcome mat, the black rubber welcome mats. That's all I really saw was that, but I could tell like there was something swinging, and then the trees were kind of flopping extra hard like this behind it, and it's funny because you find the more you get away from it. And I think that's the same for everybody. The more detail you get, right? So did you get more detail out of your sighting further away from it or up close to it?
Everything happened really quickly, and we were pretty close to it.
Right. So, but what I'm saying is, in the moment, did you collect all that detail, or were you able to decipher and get more detail a week later at home?
I think actually I got more detail once. Kind of talking to other researchers, and I did go back immediately to the camp, and I tried to draw what I saw on my, on my notes app just really quick while it was fresh in my mind. And it is interesting because I think in that moment the adrenaline does kick in. And but my friend Marion, who was there with me, she was like, because I said at one point when I had seen the lights, I was like, "Are we back at the camp already?" Like you said, you knew some people had lived back there, and you're like, "Is that their house?" So I was really confused, and I didn't even remember. But at one point, I guess I said, "Are those headlights?" Because that's how bright it was. And this is kind of my really crappy drawing that I did, but this is the gentleman who was in front of the trail, and then these were the eyes that we saw, and then these were the trees, and that's kind of the trail going up. So
okay, so that's what you saw, and so you're not an artist.
Well, I mean, maybe not on my.
I bet you are. I bet she is, dude.
Hold on, here we go.
Yeah, here it is. See, I'm onto this stuff.
I do have this really wicked skull that I painted once.
Oh my god, see that? That's amazing. Cool. I love it. That's good stuff. And when did you discover? When did you discover you could sing? Is that a whole life thing?
Probably since I was a kid. Oh yeah.
Just because you were singing as a kid, and then somebody went, "Whoa, wait a minute."
Yeah. And then, my mother, she was very encouraging of it. I actually tried out for American Idol when I was like 16, but it's nothing like what you see on TV. I think I had dreams of being a singer, like a rock star, before being like a Bigfooter.
Really?
So, yeah.
You play instruments?
No, I just sing.
Just sing.
Sing.
What's your favorite song to sing?
Oh God, it depends.
You know
on
the one.
day.
There's always the one. Everybody has.
It just depends on the day.
All right, Saturday night at 6:00. What's your favorite song to sing? It's 7:48 now.
All right. Well, here's a good one. "Devil Like Me" by Rainbow Kitten Surprise.
All right, give me some.
Oh gosh, right now.
Yeah. Drink some water.
Do that.
Why? Nobody's watching. Sis does. We're not
They're
worldwide.
like, I thought this was a Bigfoot show, not The Voice.
No, you know what's funny is I love talking to humans, and we have a lot of Bigfoot conversation. We always do, but I like to know the research and how they think. Like Gary Fabian last week shared a very personal story with us, and I just love it. I just love being friends with people, and I think it's amazing that it adds to the talent, right? It adds to the person. It adds to the researcher when you see these other sides of them, and I just think it's important. And your song and your voice is kick ass. And my daughter's an amazing singer. And she was in mass art up in Boston. She's an artist as well. And she's just insane. The girl's insane. And we actually went up to, was it American Idol? What's the Voice? No, it was American Idol in Boston. But she was 13. So she was too young, really. But they got to listen to her. and she did amazing. So yeah, I just love it. What's your favorite song to do again?
That's awesome. I said "Devil Like Me" by Rainbow Kitten Surprise.
Can you give us like one verse of it?
Oh God,
I don't mind putting you on the spot. I won't apologize. So
all right.
Wojo will.
I wouldn't do that to you.
I would.
All right, let's see. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Everybody's got a name. Everybody's got a number. 7, 6, 3 frame 5 for the two of us. 3 is too much, and we're only one loving.
That is badass, dude.
I don't know.
No, seriously. This is what I've done. I'm like, yeah, just sing this. I got pictures of her by a campfire, and she just busts it out. And she has those little fears, yeah. But you guys already know what you can do, and you just break through it, right? Yeah. And to see somebody just do that, and just have that tone, and just have fun with it. I so wish I could do that.
Yeah.
I so wish I could do that. That is just such a the truest of gifts is singing. I don't care what anybody says, man. You can draw all you want. You can run around in the woods, look for Bigfoot. You can be a digital creator. But when you can sing, man, it's just different.
Singing is the best. I put on a lot of good car concerts these days.
Right? You should do YouTube Live in the car.
Yeah.
And just put it. You would get like 1 million viewers.
Oh my gosh, that would be fun.
Oh, it would be so. And then you'd get the ones. Stop singing while you're driving. You're gonna cause an accident. You jerk.
Well, it'll be like that carpool karaoke.
Yeah. Yes. But different.
But Bigfoot related. We only sing Bigfoot related songs.
Around the campfire songs.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be epic, dude.
Now,
what'd you think?
Do you do whoops also? I'm sure you do.
What?
You do whoops out in the woods? You do?
I do. And you know what's funny is, now that I do podcasting, I'm trying not to. I'm trying to save my voice. I know that sounds crazy. Mm-hmm. But I do whoops, and we were out with this group, and the guy Jeff, who was with me when I had the sighting, he knew that I do whoops and have done like howls and stuff before, and I'm like, we were walking along, I'm like, so is anybody gonna do a call? And he was like, well, we're waiting on you, and I was like, oh damn it. So he's like, so take it away. Oh God, no.
Why?
My neighbors would kill me.
Really? My neighbors will love it.
So did you ever think of sitting out in the woods and just singing?
Yeah, I actually have had that's something we're thinking about.
Oh my God, dude.
Yeah.
So listen, you got to get one of those little ring bowls, the music bowls.
We have it. We do that.
Damn, I see this. This is a vibe, man. This is a vibe. I'm telling you, girl.
My girl Kathy, shout out to her again. I'm telling you, she gets that, and I've tried it. We had this camp out, and we were doing it, and I was trying like hell to get this singing bowl to go, and I couldn't do it. She gets it. She is cranking it. I mean, just it's fantastic. The way that she can get that thing going is awesome. So we utilize that.
Yeah, but I think if you mix that in with your voice, and singing that kind of, well, you got a little. I mean, I think you got a little bluesy sound to you, right? Right?
Yeah, I think like alternative. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you could have a little bit of both and be borderline with it. But I think my point is, you could take anything and just kind of stream it. You know what I mean? Where it's just kind of flowing. I think that flow would attract.
Well, and like you were saying with humming, kind of like that ahs and oohs and things. Yeah.
Oh, I just thought of something. Yeah, let's compare frequencies.
Mm-hmm.
What if we get the humming frequency and then we compare it to your singing frequency?
That'd be cool. Or I even think some of the indigenous songs and things would be interesting to learn, or maybe like an old Viking song. Who knows? Switch it up.
Do you think they're associated with the Vikings?
Could be. You never know. Who knows?
Well,
some people say they find runes or other
things
like that. So anything's possible.
No, I'm a Viking Knights Templar guy.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm obsessed. I'm just like, I won't move. It's like little kid watching Bluey. It's just a mess. It's a mess in here. What were you gonna say, Wojo?
Oh no, I was just saying like the indigenous the flute.
Well, that's one thing that we've done, and that was the night that we had that red for lack of light, eye shine, whatever.
Right.
A girl who was with us, she had downloaded some Native American flute, and it's so funny because it was like playing this really kind of chill flute music, and then all of a sudden, I guess the track flipped, and now all of a sudden we had like war song come on. I'm like, oh, I gotta cut that off, cut it off.
I gotta get us killed.
Well, I think I don't know how that got on there.
Yeah, no, I think it's funny because we just had Mary Fabian on from Pennsylvania, Bigfoot Project, and she's amazing story. And she talked about the shofar. And
yeah, I've heard about that.
Right, and one of them got they said the guy got attacked or was really aggressive after hearing the shofar. And so don't do that. But I think the elegant sounds line up with maybe what you're going to get, and as a result,
it's the end of days, and that's when when they play that, all the Bigfoots all respond. And
really, dude,
they start coming right to you. And what she said is, if that guy blew that flute one more time, they probably would have ripped us apart.
Well, and that's what's the tough part. And I do see some folks' arguments on doing provocations is that we don't know what we're saying, and we don't know how they are anticipating it and receiving it. So that is a really good point.
Yeah.
I've heard some people who are very adamant, no yelling, no anything, which I get.
Yeah, and we get the same thing with our gift and share because we leave food and stuff like that. But I think everybody's research areas are kind of different. You know what I mean? So
everybody has a different approach.
Yeah, we do. And I started out with gifting, like I said, almost a decade ago. I don't know. I got a piece of lichen back for a gift, and when it first happened, and it was really, really awesome. So I believe in doing all that stuff, and I think as long as we're being respectful, we're not yelling, "Hey, what up? Yeah, bro." You know what I mean? We're not doing stupid, Boston language and stuff out in the woods. You know what I mean? You gotta be nice out there. Ask them where they park their car. Is it in the Harvard yard? You know what I mean? Stuff like that. But I think it's essential. So real quick before we go, because it's late and I don't want to keep you, and you're going to go out in Florida and be like, woo! over to what's the name of the place? Mojo's Bar and Grill. Is that what you said, Wojo?
Yeah.
That's right, Jim. We're going to head on over to Mojo's Bar and Grill where nobody goes no more. Nobody knows your name. Back to you, Susan. Sorry. Is that all loud? So no, what is before we leave, what is Brooke Mullen's favorite technique to use to try to get Skunk Ape to notice where you are, or Bigfoot?
I think just talking and being yourself. I think that they're very curious. One of my favorite things to do is find a good location, scout it out, and then come back at night and post up, do a small fire, and just kind of be yourself, be normal, be curious, and they will come out there.
So you light a fire after dark, and with no snake boots on, but you'll have a gun.
Oh yeah, I carry.
Yeah, yeah. She's like, yeah, he's a Southern girl. He's packing. And do you have a friend, like somebody with you?
Oh yeah. I'm not doing anything alone.
Never alone. All right. So she knows the rule. Never alone.
No.
Right. She's packing heat for the other ones because all kinds of other animals down there. You have to. And you go and light a fire and you just sit and talk and see if they come in.
Sometimes things like that. Yeah. Or just, just conducting yourself in a really normal way, because we've heard things while we've been talking, and then we'll get quiet and the activity will stop. And then once you start talking again, that's when you start to hear the howls or the tree breaks and things like that. So you got to just be natural and not act like you're out there searching. I think if you put yourself okay, you have a base camp, maybe you're camping out there and you have your base camp, but if you're going somewhere different, they anticipate us to be at campgrounds and stuff. I still think that they're curious, but when you're going into their areas and you're doing things, they're like, wait a minute, why are they here? They're not supposed to be here. This is late. What are these crazy people doing? What's happening? I think they're very curious creatures. So putting yourself in their environment is number one.
Yeah, I think it's great. I think, Wojo, you and I are complete wimps because we go out into a pretty little forest. We don't have any of the animals that she deals with. Okay. We haven't been out at night yet. I mean, no, not yet, but overnight. We need to do it overnight and broadcast it live. Have you done overnights?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God, dude.
Yeah, and we do cowboy camping a lot.
What the hell? You just throw something down and lay down?
Oh, well, cowboy camping, essentially like you bring a chair or you could bring a hammock or something to lay down on and
that's
you
it.
stay out all night long.
Do you open up an old can of beans with that little weird can?
Honestly, I listen.
Tell the
because
truth. Tell the truth.
I know that's what I was gonna say because I know people have been on campouts with me. Sometimes I've just opened up like a can of chili and eat it, and they'll be like, "Do you want to heat that up?" I'm like, "No, I'm fine." I used to eat SpaghettiOs just right out of the can growing up.
I do all the time. I
literally
love
don't
those
care.
stupid things out of the can. That's how I eat them. Cold SpaghettiOs. I don't even like them. Don't waste my time heating them up. It's so
I know.
weird.
They're like, "You're gonna heat that up?" I'm like, "No, it's fine."
Wow. So she must have a cowboy hat on and everything. Because that's like old school Billy the Kid shit. Open up a can of beans and just sit there eating by the fire. You know what I'm saying, right, Woj?
Oh, yeah.
It's getting dark out at Wojo's house. All right, cool. So I'm going to let you go, but I want to know. I want the world to know. Everybody worldwide. That's right. Worldwide, baby. Dark Realm TV. Sorry, busted into a commercial. We upload to Spotify, iHeart. It's all everywhere. Everybody's gonna know. Where do they find you?
Well, they can find me at all the same places. Just look up Dark Florida Podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. We are there. And if you want to interact with me or the show, feel free to give me a follow. I'm pretty active over on Instagram at Dark Florida Podcast. You can see all the behind the scenes stuff that I'm getting into and my research and boots on the ground stuff that I've got going on. And I am over at Facebook. I have a Dark Florida group, so feel free to interact over there also.
Yep. Instagram, you'll see a lot of cool, like you'll get an idea of what she's actually doing. Because that's what I did. When I was like, oh, wait, what the hell are you doing? Oh, what the hell? You know what I mean? Like, oh, shit, is it Daco? Get out of there, girl. You know what I mean? Like, girl, you got to go. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. Do you have a specific day or night when you do your podcast? I know you record and upload. So do you have a night when you upload them or just?
Well, lately I've been releasing them on Thursdays. Thursday seems to be the day.
Okay, cool. Well, if they're following you anyway.
I've gotten pretty consistent with Thursdays. So
yeah. And if they're following you, they're going to know because you're going to say, hey, a new episode's coming up about the drop, blah, blah, blah. So everybody will know where to find you. So that's awesome. So let me end by saying this. It blew my mind. It blew my mind, the similarities in the research thoughts, theories, techniques. Blew my mind. Absolutely. I just appreciate you. Thank you for singing for us a little bit. Sorry, Wojo put you on the spot. He didn't mean to do that. He'll never do it again. I'll have a talk with him about that. This is ridiculous, Wojo. No, I just wanted to hear it because I think it was awesome and the world should hear it because I think it's a gift. So thank you for joining us tonight on Banter RichieB. Everybody on the side.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Did I say spaghetti or enthusiast? Billy, no, I think it was chili and beans anyways. But everybody on the side, it was awesome tonight. I saw you guys all conversing with each other, so I didn't get to a ton of questions because I noticed you guys were enjoying each other's company. And that's really what this podcast is all about. This is about the community that Wojo and I and all my producer and everybody on the side has created. We want a nice, happy, safe community where you all can just have some fun and get to know each other and become friends and come up with new ideas, right? So follow me on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, all Banter with RichieB. Hit that notify button on the YouTube channel because you will come out in the woods with us. And we have 8,620 people. And then I think before that was like 5,000, 3,000. A lot of people are getting involved, man. And it's just awesome. So I want you to be part of that. So make sure you hit that notify button and check out our techniques and have fun with it, you know. Brooke Mullen was an absolute gift tonight. As Wojo would say, thank you for being here once again. I love you, baby Jack. I love you, mama. And I want Wojo to get us out of here because basically that's what he does.
Hey, thank you all for being on here. Thank you, Brooke. Hey, we love you guys. And yes, we are home of the